Hello, friends. How are you? Doing well? In this session, we are talking about voters' apathy. In the previous session, we talked about elections. Do you remember what we discussed in it? Yes. Shall we go look back for a minute? We saw in the last session 1. Indian citizens have got the right to vote unconditionally. Secondly, we did not have to protest to get the right to vote. Next is, it is our responsibility to exercise our franchise properly. In doing so, freedom will flourish, democracy will flourish. Next is, voters should exercise their franchise seriously in elections for better government. Going ahead, the Constitution gave Indian citizens adult suffrage without conditions. Thus, in one spell swoop, the undemocratic conditions of wealth, education, prestige, title, etc. were eliminated. All Indians came to the same level, that is, one person, one vote, one value, became the constitutional right of all citizens. Right? Remember? Should we go ahead and talk about voters' responsibility? Yes, you must talk. Friends, and you must learn also. You are voters now. Yes or no? If you are not, and you have turned 18 years of age, be a voter without delay. What you should do for that? Remember, register your name in the voters list and acquire a voter card. You may have a question. What is required to get an ID card? Isn't it? So listen carefully to what I say. To get a voter ID card, you have to give your information in the prescribed format. Don't forget to attach your two passport size photographs with that form. Your identity card contains your photo, name, father's or mother's name, age, gender, address, and constituency. This identity card is used to identify yourself while you go for voting. It is very important to remember that our votes shape the future of our country. Please remember this. Everyone should exercise this right to vote. But does that happen particularly in India? We have to look at it as responsible citizens of the country. Shall we make some calculations regarding the votes to understand this? Let us check out. In the Lok Sabha elections held in India so far, the voter turnout has averaged between 45% to 65%. Let's consider 65% voting for our convenience. Tell me, when does election took place? At least two candidates have to be in the fray for the election to take place. We rarely find two candidates for one seat. There are at least 4 or 5 candidates. Nevertheless, let us assume only two candidates for our own convenience. Turnout was 65%. Okay? That means you have to get at least 32.5% plus one vote to be elected. Let us take 33% of the vote for your convenience. What are the conclusions of these calculations? First is 35% of the people did not exercise right to vote, and the candidate was elected with 36% of the votes. I mean, the elected candidate does not have the support of how many people? 67% of the people. Remember it. This can be said in broad terms. So can this be called a majority democracy when 67% of the population is not voting for the elected candidate? Friends, this is a very worrying situation from the democracy point of view. You will agree with me. One reason for this seems to be that we got the right to vote without struggle. What you get for free is not worth it. That's kind of it. Then there are different reasons for not exercising voting rights. Here's what being said. People say, not a single candidate eligible to be elected. Please remember, there is a provision in EVM, that is, if there is no eligible candidate as per your own calculations, you can vote for neglecting all the candidates, putting up the button on the EVM, that is none of above, and you can cast the vote there. Secondly, there was no time from work. This is funny thing, no time, and so on and so on. And third is very, very serious thing. And what harm will be there be if me alone do not cast vote? In this context, reminded of a story about Akbar and Bir. Please listen. You may be knowing the various stories of this Birbal and Akbar. This is one of them. The story is like this. Akbar assigns a task to Birbal. The emperor wanted to see how his subjects were. So he tells Birbal to build a big pond in the village and issue a decree that the villager should bring a mug of milk and pour in the pond. The villager should start pouring milk from night itself so that by morning the pond is full of milk. Everyone in the village thought, please see, this is interesting. Everyone in the village thought that everybody will be bringing milk. Who would know if I alone poured a mug of water? Thus the next day, the pond was found to be full of the water. What does that mean? What is the lesson you learned from this story? That is, everybody's responsibility is nobody's responsibility, isn't it? We had the same with voting. Please, this negative attitude must be changed. Apathy should be reduced. And important solution is voters' awareness. Friends, in order to value a vote, it is very important to understand the value of democracy in which we are living. In a country where democracy thrives, the people enjoy values such as, please listen, these values enshrined in the preamble of the Constitution: freedom, equality, justice, fraternity. For this, democracy must be strengthened. The values should not be forgotten when choosing your representative. This will only strengthen the democracy. Just as increasing the quantum of franchise is not only essential for the bright future of a democracy, but the exercise of voting rights must be done impartially. It is important to exercise this right thoughtfully in accordance with one's own conscience without succumbing, very important, very, very important, without succumbing to any temptation. In a democracy, the value of vote is as important as democracy. Please remember, democracy will survive when voters realize this. My simple question to you, can I have a question to you? Yes. Would you become a voter or not? If not, then do it immediately. There is no doubt that you will be a very responsible voter. I believe and I trust this. To make you aware of this, the topic of election has been included in our curriculum because you should understand this, the importance of at this age. Don't look at elections just for examination point of view. Examination, yes. You should study, you should write down the questions on elections. But it should not be limited with only about the examination. It is an important component of our democratic way of life, our lives. And therefore, our participation as voters is very important. Dear friends, your participation is twofold. One is that you have to exercise your right to vote as a vigilant, responsible person. At the same time, as an enlightened citizen of India, I should say, it is your responsibility to create an active environment and create awareness about the elections among the people. Friends, Oh, time, today's time is coming out, and we are coming to the end of it. But before I close, let's take a note of one statement of former Secretary General of Lok Sabha, Dr. Subhash K. Kashyap, a learned constitutionalist. One on right to vote, what he says. Please listen. Participation in the electoral process to elect our government is not merely political right, but a supreme citizenship duty and a constitutional responsibility. What is said, please remember, it is not only a political right. You are exercising your right, but it is not a political right by which you form the government, but it is your supreme duty, constitutional duty. You must never forget this. So, friends, our time is running out. So, see you in the next section with some of the amendments made to the Constitution. Please do attend the session as these amendments are very crucial, historical, and we all must be aware of them. So, goodbye for now. Bye bye.